So my name is Ashley Wilson. I am an author, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a speaker, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom. These are my 3 children here, Ezra, Esther, and Nehemiah. I'm a wife, I've been married for 15 years. So I wear a lot of different hats. Say it?
I'm 9.
You're 9 years old, right? And so I wear a lot of different hats, but I love entrepreneurship because it allows me to do all of those things and have flexibility in between that, right? So what you're going to hear me sharing today is about a pitch that I did concerning a business that I was going to move forward in, but that has evolved over time. So you guys have access to the makerspace, right? That's upstairs, the laser printer and all that type of stuff. So I'll be showing you those items that I was able to make. I was able to make my signs from there. So it's so great that you have that resource that if you don't need to go and buy something and you can make your merch or you can make your signs or whatever, it's so great that you have access to that. So while you're building your business and you're doing what you need to do for your presentation, please take hold of that. So am I doing that from here?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so as you can see here, I had 4 businesses at one time going on at one time, and I also had a nonprofit. So when I was working on sharing this business, this was part of it. There were 8, and we're going to share, you're going to see that it was an online and pop-up thrift shop that I was working on. And then I also had a holistic wellness business where I would help people to figure out what's going on with their illness or whatever from the root rather than just dealing with the symptoms. And so working holistically with them. Then I had something called Freedom's Community, where I would help as far as advocacy, because I used to have a nonprofit that helped people that unfortunately were exploited and were dealing with human trafficking and whatnot. And then once I pivoted from my nonprofit, I was doing that work within freed communities, as far as consulting and whatnot. Then I had A. Wilson Creates, which I felt like was my art therapy. Anybody like art in here at all? Music, anything like that? But yeah. So my art therapy was beads, so like making bracelets and necklaces and rings and stuff like that. And so that was my other business that I could share my art through. Eventually, I put them all together and made Flourishing Essentials LLC. So we'll get to that later, but this is the one that I came to Incubators with and won second place with my pitch, okay? So anybody know about the program Canva? Have you seen that? Yeah. Okay, golden tool, okay? That always have that, use that. It's easy, especially when you have access to it for free and you can make all of your content with that and even, make stuff through that you can do your printing as well. So when I was sharing, I put quotes with my presentation as well. So good things come to those that thrift. Does anybody like thrifting at all here? Yes?
It depends on what it is.
It depends on what it is. Yeah, I hear you. So I wanted to make thrifting. Yes.
What's thrifting?
Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, that's a good question. It's buying something that's for a less price, but it still could be really stylish. Okay. Yeah. So I have on here was the online and pop-up thrift shop so that it can be accessible to people, right? So I eventually wanted to get into even having an RV or something that I would just pop up and have all my stuff, but that would be later down the line. So when I started, it's important to tell people your why. Why are you doing the business that you're doing? What is it connected to? Because you'll have to learn that and have that within you when you're doing your business long term anyhow, because you hit so many different, it's a roller coaster being an entrepreneur. So what is your why? My kids, my family is my why. My legacy, being able to leave a legacy with them, also being able to spend time with them while I'm doing my work. So I tell people, I go to speak or whatever, you may see my kids coming with me. That's just a package deal. I homeschool my kids as well. So I'm always busy, something going on. All right, so you want to talk about the issues. What are you solving? Like, what is something that your item that you're making is going to help improve, and how are you sharing that? So I was talking about affordability, waste reduction, creativity. I can use my business to support causes and individuals and whatnot. So you want to share how is your business making an impact in the world or the space that you are starting to enter into, the field you're entering into. So I had another quote there: "Trends fade, but truth is eternal." I feel like that could be a T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking of other ideas on top of the the business I already have. But your customer, it's good to know who are you marketing your stuff to, right? So I had done a trial where I was asking people about their feedback concerning thrifting and what type of experience they would want and whatnot. And so I felt like I was running into people that were creatives, people who were budget conscious, treasure hunters, adventurers. They majority of people were women, but men love to thrift as well. But those were the people that were coming to me and sharing what they were excited about with me starting Worthy Wear 8. You have to know your competition. And I always say, even though if there's someone bigger out there that's doing what you're doing, do not be intimidated, because there's only one you. So you yourself are going to bring in the individualness, the uniqueness to what you're doing. And that's awesome. So don't be intimidated by it. But you got to know what's out there, right? So I knew that I was going to be going up against, other consignment shops, online marketplaces, swap events or whatever. So I had to make sure that whatever I was going to be doing, that there would be a unique spin on that. And for me, a lot of times with all my business, all of my work, I try to add some type of mission or something meaningful to it that also gets people connected to why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that also helps to connect them to my brand. Solution, benefits. So what am I, again, helping? What's the benefit of working with me? Convenience, accessibility, doing those pop-ups, excitement, novelty, curated experiences if I would work with another business, exclusive deals and events, daily encouragement. Like I said, that is part of my missions throughout all of my businesses or nonprofits or whatever. I can be able to do that in unique ways, whether pairing that with a speech or pairing that with some affirmations or doing something on social media. I'm on almost all the platforms there. So being able to show how you're connecting your business to solutions, to benefits, is helpful as well. You're going to be sharing about the advantage of being able to have whatever the business is that you're sharing about. For me, to have something that I didn't necessarily need an actual brick and mortar store that is like just permanent. It helps me to keep my brand, my identity. It helps me to be flexible, to go different places. I can be more transparent about the different things that I'm doing, especially when people are getting connected to like a smaller brand or something that's more tangible rather than saying like a big box store or anything like that. So those are just a few things. Again, you're tailoring this to your business, so you can curate it to what works best for you. Message and marketing, which is my favorite. The different ways that you're going to share your business and the things that you make, or the service that you're providing. So social media, for me, was part of it. Style tips, workshops, podcasts, YouTube, being able to even share, daily, have a YouTube channel to be able to explain your product or your process or your item to people one time through one source that can be shared often. Does that make sense? It's easier to put work into one item that can go off across. So when people are asking you, well, what do? You're not sitting there for however long being like, and Here, actually, you can look at my pamphlet, or this is my social media page, or this is a video that tells you exactly what I do. So being able to have that in mind, having collaborations, working with social, engaging local media. You can share about your business, whether in a newspaper or something like that. Distribution. How are you going to sell the thing that you're selling, or the share that you are open to sharing or doing this service with for whoever you're going to be working with, right? You got to get the word out. You got to tell people what is going to be your stream. For me, because of the avenue of like the thrifting, it would be Poshmark, eBay, Etsy, or social media live sales, in-person events, markets, things of that nature. Okay. Startup cost. Do they share about? Okay, so you're gonna share kind of like what does it take to make your business run? Okay, so I always say being able to work with my mentor, this was so helpful, and being able to know how to write this down and how to be able to share this. But you're giving them just a brief overview of some of the things that you're gonna need for your startup costs and how much that is. Okay, and then you give the quick overview again, sharing, the sales percentage per year and things of that nature, and then you can continue to move forward. You're not really spending a lot of time on these slides, but you want to just give a quick overview. The ask. I always felt that being able to be more specific on why you're asking what you're asking is very helpful. So I wanted them to know that I'm ready to win this $500, okay? And what I was going to do with it. And so being able to break down the amount that you could possibly use and how you would use it is very helpful. And that's what I was sharing here. And I was also sharing that I was committed to thinking of the future, of what I would do in the future as I grew as a business. And so that's why I shared, I would want to have an RV that eventually I would do the pop-up shops from, so then I can carry all my stuff in there and it'd just be like a pop-up store rather than bringing all the stuff and having to do the tent and all that. So I also wanted to show commitment that I was already getting the word out there about my business. Sometimes, even though you're not all the way established yet, I didn't have a certified LLC yet or sole proprietor or all that type of stuff, but I still wanted to get the word out about what I was doing and participate and see how people would take to my business. And so I had found an event, and I was asked to vendor, and so I decided to vendor Worthy Wear 8 at that time, okay? And invite people to come to the event. Being able to share then also how people can get in contact with you is great. So if you got an email, put the email there. I have something called a link tree that I'm able to put all of my links onto. So it makes it very easy. I give you one link and it takes you to everything. It takes you to all my social media sites, any prior media that I've done, affiliate, ambassador work, all of that. So that's how I kind of like give something quick, and then it takes them, and you can get to know me very well through what's shared there. And then that is it. Any questions?